Hi, I'm Panda Hershey, and over the last 7 years, I've helped hundreds of people use their astrological compass to navigate their relationships and challenging situations so they can actually enjoy life. Welcome to the March 20th Coffee and Charts call, where we talk about simply noticing what you want to bring to people's attention and what feels increasingly urgent over the next 2 weeks. Because the Mercury portal is now open. Not only that, it's also time to take your new skills and presence that you have cultivated over the last 9 months and discern who your dream team is to help you scale those skills to the moon. And if you're trying to bring something important to people's attention and want to use the Mercury portal to help you do that, click the link below to download my free one-page guide. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, well, welcome. And I think, I hope you can feel something is slowly shifting. It will become more apparent over the next 2 weeks for sure. But if you've been feeling like it's been absolutely crazy busy with your life and like your mind not being able to focus, that's going to shift because the Mercury portal is open. And that means Mercury is going to slow down so that you can focus on some really important issues, whatever they are to you. They are possibly related to something that someone is bringing to your attention, but it's also what inspires you from being out in the world, which is why I've really emphasized who you've been hanging out with, because that will absolutely impact what you care about and what you see as urgent. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the slides. So here we are on March 20th, and kind of just to a snapshot of where we are again. Here is Mercury over here in Aries, and today actually it crosses over Chiron for the first time. There will be 3 of them, but the Mercury portal is now open, and for the next 2 months, we'll see Mercury go back and forth in this little area of Aries. And what else is going on? Well, we'll talk about these things one by one as they happen, but that's kind of the number one thing that I think will call your attention over the next couple of weeks. So, as I mentioned, Mercury is crossing over Chiron today for the first of 3 times. And Chiron is about dealing with things that don't go the way we expect. So, for example, if you put a post out on Instagram and you think, oh man, I put no effort into this, and all of a sudden, like 1 million people like it, like that's Chiron. That's a pleasant surprise. It does not go the way you expect. Whereas you could spend a bunch of time putting effort into something to get out some kind of message that you think is important, and no one notices. And both of those things are kind of the flip side of not having things go as you expect. And so I feel like part of what we're doing during this time is learning how to treat life as more of an experiment, that we really can't know how things will turn out. And we'll just see what happens. And sometimes they can be pleasant and sometimes it can be a little disappointing. But it all, kind of starts to settle out. And with 3 times of Mercury going over Chiron, we'll get this progressively, I don't know. I'll say we'll learn a little bit more about what that is meaning for us, but it's going to take a couple months to do that. So let's keep going. Tomorrow, Venus crosses over Saturn here and enters the Saturn portal for 2024. And As I've talked about, Saturn this year is about building your dream team for your day to day life. And with Venus moving through that for about a week, it's about who do you enjoy um, having around you, noticing uh, who picks up your energy, who is going to help you do your day to day work, who is inviting you to join their team if you like that, and that kind of energy. So that is something especially to pay attention to because with the Mercury portal happening as well of I'm trying to bring something important to people's attention, like maybe these are the people that are actually going to listen to you. So this is a lovely combination of thinking how these two things could go together. Then on the 23rd, Mars um, enters last year's Saturn portal. And Mars is kind of anything but neutral. You either have a strong opinion about it for it or against it, but it's about taking a stand. And this may bring up issues with people that were part of your dream team last year. Maybe they're not interested in joining, this year's team. And this could be an opportunity to stoke a fire under them and say, hey, we had such a great opportunity last year and we could do so much. Think about it. I just want to hear what you want to do and let's see how we could work together. The other side of that is someone who was part of your team and wants to join this year. You feel like, oh man, I never again. I can't do that. And so it's about setting a hard boundary of, for this to work, this is what's going to have to change. This is what things are going to have to look like for you to be part of the team. And so that's a week of this going on as well. At the same time, I love it that last year's Jupiter portal finishes up in just a couple days. And this means that the 9 months of growth that you had since last June are done. And if you think about how far you've come in that time in building some skills or presence, um, this is now the time to say, okay, I did a ton of work. I am no longer a beginner in whatever it is that you worked on. And I'm going to keep pushing it further to do things that I haven't tried yet, to do more, to take it deeper. And that is pretty exciting. And over the next month or a little more, we will be able to break through some barriers that have been holding us back. And so that is really cool. And so if you feel as though, oh my gosh, this feels a little scary, I don't know if I can do this, but I really feel like I want to try, this is a great opportunity to go for that. And at the same time, the Saturn portal opens at 13 degrees of Pisces. So remember, Venus crossed over, and now the Saturn portal is actually in where it's going to be most of the year. And that is the signal that it's time to start choosing who you want to be with, who is going to be part of your dream team. And it's not something that happens in one day. It is more like, okay, some easy no's are great to just say no to. Like, no, I absolutely know this is not a fit. But there's no reason why you can't have some trial runs of saying, okay, let's see how it works. We're going to be really honest with each other. And, we'll give it a month, whatever the time period is. And no harm, no foul if we decide to part ways. But this is the time to begin that discernment. And this will happen for a few months. On the 25th, the Neptune portal completes from last year. And it's about, your mentors from last year have kind of done their work. And at the same time, the mentors from this year have already opened up and started coming in. So if someone is was a big part of your support system last year, they may kind of fall off the radar for a little bit, or they may continue on. And on the 27th, so that was about a week, Venus leaves that Saturn portal. So just knowing it may not be about specific people that you met during that time. It absolutely could be, but it is about noticing where you enjoy an environment. What boosts you? What feels like, you know what? If I get up and I just hang out with these people or this energy, I'm going to make it through this year. And that's what you'll be looking for. Where are you enjoying that? And who's enjoying you? Because it works in both directions. Then on the 31st, Mars leaves last year's Saturn portal. So hopefully there has been some opportunity to set some boundaries or stoke a fire under the people that you worked with last year. And Venus enters the last year's Neptune portal and will also move through this year's Neptune portal. So it may be about inviting in some help or noticing who's supporting you and giving some appreciation to anyone who has helped you through some tough times, especially last year, and who might be able to help you this year. Who would be a good guide or mentor who understands what you're going through, and possibly inviting them. Or they may pick you out as someone who they would love to help, and that can come as well. Then on April 1st, the Mercury retrograde begins at 27 degrees of Aries. And the next day, as I said, Venus will start moving through this year's Neptune portal. So possibly inviting in a mentor or some kind of support system who can get you through some of these tough times this year, as well as the Chiron portal opening at 19 degrees of Aries. And we meet again on April 3rd, when Venus will cross over Neptune at 28 degrees of Pisces. That especially could be a day where something like a mentor or support system comes in to guide you and is there for you. So if you haven't found it yet, this could be a day to look forward to. So, yep, we're gonna go back. Any questions?
No, I bet I do want to go back and cover those, check at those dates again. It's very interesting to me.
Oh, cool. Okay, excellent. Yeah. You know, one thing I've been figuring out is that the astrology, it's like it validates our decisions or validates our intuition. Like all the decisions that we make, it's like, oh, don't know how it's going to turn out, but at least I've set myself up for like looking into this, and it's good. Okay, here we go. All right. Does that help? Okay. So the Mercury portal is open, and it's all about what is important to bring to people's attention and feels increasingly urgent for the next 2 weeks. So I don't think you have to do anything unusual. It is more about paying attention There is some theme that will come up as something very important that will build in urgency over the next 2 weeks until April 1st. And at the same time, something might be brought to your attention, and that's also important to listen to. So, your 9 months of growth, this is that Jupiter portal closing, is done. And what are you going to do with that now? How are you going to take it deeper, further, expand it? Try things you haven't tried before, even though it feels like a stretch because you haven't done it before. This is the time to go for it. If you think about a barrier having been in front of you for ages and the opportunity to bust through it because you've taken that chance to use your skills, that with that in mind, it's possible that you will be able to crack that open. And who is ready to work with the new you? This is that Saturn portal opening. I love it that it's the same day as the Jupiter portal closing. It's almost like you've become a new you, so you almost have to have a new team around you who can accommodate all the skills that you've developed and will keep encouraging them and will be part of your continued growth. And look for who invites you in and who you want as part of your dream team. And the no's can be quick no's, but the maybes are good to explore for a little bit, even as a trial period before you say, yes, definitely let's plan on working together. Or, maybe not. This didn't turn out exactly the way we thought. It's probably better if we each go our own way, but that's all okay. So today, Mercury is moving over Chiron. So what ideas, hang on one second. How are your ideas or thoughts being noticed, seen, heard in some way that you didn't expect? How is something brought to your attention that you didn't expect? And those things uh, aren't always a bad thing, and they can be things to pursue and look into. And following that thread, this is the first of 3 times. So it can keep getting, you may think one thing now about whatever is coming to your attention, and it can shift again when the next time happens. So just keep that in mind, that nothing is certain right now. From March 21st to the 27th, Venus is moving through the Saturn portal, and it's exact on the 21st. So who do you like as part of your day-to-day dream team? And who is inviting you to be part of their group and looking at that? So especially on the 21st and then for a week, just paying attention to who you enjoy is going to be key to deciding what you want. Then from the 23rd to the 31st, Mars will move through last year's Saturn portal. So it's about stoking a fire or setting a hard line with someone from last year and letting that play out. Then on the 23rd, just a few days from now, last year's Jupiter portal is done. So that was 9 months of growth that you had. And it's time to stretch even more. And you'll be breaking through some barriers, possibly next month, or at least you'll feel like something opens up next month. The same day, the Saturn portal opens. So the growth is over. And then the Saturn portal is about deciding who is in or out as part of your kind of day-to-day team. And then from the 31st to April 4th, Venus moves through last year's and this year's Neptune portals. So noticing who is a good support system or mentor, someone who really understands what you're going through and all the work that is going to be required this year and can help support you. So, noticing that it's exact on April 3rd, that could be a great day, especially if you have a tool at 28 degrees where this tool might come into play that day. And then finally, April 1st, Mercury stations retrograde at 27 degrees of Aries. So, what has come to your attention over the last 2 weeks as urgent? What has kind of built in importance to you? And what is being brought to your attention that you can't ignore? So, this is just phase one. There are actually 2 more regular phases of the Mercury portal afterwards, and then there's a bonus phase. But we will talk about that when we get to it. And so, some tips for thriving. Just noticing what feels important to bring to people's attention is what to pay attention to. You don't have to change anything you're doing about your life. Just notice that there is something that keeps coming up for you, and what you'll be able to tell because it becomes more and more important to you by April 1st. So, the second thing is who feels like part of your dream team that can help with the day-to-day work of this year? Who are you enjoying? And who is inviting you? So it's time to be selective. So you can get rid of the easy no's now, but then have some trial periods. And your 9-month growth phase from June is over, and you get to keep going with all that growth to extend yourself and try more that you've never done before. But it's what you're being called to do before the next Jupiter portal opens this summer. And that's it. And just as a little bonus, if you are a primary caregiver also trying to run a business, you need people to pay attention the first time you tell them, because you just don't have any time to like repeat yourself over and over again. Not only that, it can be really hard to find time to think strategically. Like there's just no space because of so many interruptions. And it can be helpful to get reminders to stay on track when last minute appointments appear for you to do things or take care of things. And so when you feel like a bit of a voice in the wilderness, trying to get people to hear something important and no one's listening, this is exactly what this portal is here to help you with. It is about getting that message clear and also about finding the right audience. And I'm offering a free PDF that explains the different phases and how to use them appropriately. And there's also an opportunity to get some email reminders, a series of, at this point, it would be 11, that will help you throughout the entire portal to keep you on track with getting your message out there. So there is a link available below, and that's all you have to do to go get that 1-page download. So there we go. All right. Any questions?
No, sounds like interesting times, and I'm looking at the timing of everything and looking at how it falls with the tax deadlines and things like that, and it's pretty interesting.
Okay, good. Well, interesting, I hope is good.
You know, that's what I'm reaching for, so let's have that in the space.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. All right, my dear, let's hope for some pleasant surprises.
Yes, indeed.
I hope you feel prepared to move easily through the next 2 weeks. Life is still shifting and the changes are still piling on, but at least it's slowing down. So just hang in there until May. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the stuff you're dealing with in 2024, shoot me an email at panda@yourfullexpression.com to find out more about Compass and how it can take all these changes and break them down into bite-sized chunks that are actually manageable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.